Hanwha just going to give away the Volibear. They could theoretically do that, but it's going to be the Twist of Fate ban. So Volibear is available if Beyond wants it again. But Ashe is going to be more of that priority. Set is also still available.
Oh, Volibear first pick.
Yep, okay. Ashe is going to go over to Viper this time. Let's see what Docdom has planned to try and counteract the Ashe.
I mean, he was only playing Ashe for a long time. And maybe some of Aphelios games, but Aphelios is not in a meta right now on the bot side. So I'm wondering what he is going to play this time around.
Ezreal.
Heimerdinger.
Oh, there we go. That's the dream. I want Heimerdinger's Zyra lane. That's what I want. Is Senna's going to come in, another champion that can somewhat match the range, at least eventually, of the Ashe.
Yeah. A lot of AD carry players rated Senna as a good champion to play against Ashe, so it's a reasonable.
Yep. I'd like to see a set here from Dynamics, but Kuzan is going to prioritize the Azir instead.
And Azir plus Olaf, so it does make sense, but it's again Mir's favorite matchup. You already saw 2 times or 3 times when Mir has this matchup, he always gets some spotlight or POG. So I think it's favorite matchup for Hanwha Live. And I'm wondering if Dynamics is looking for Senna plus Nautilus, something like supporting Senna more with the CEC on the support side, because now I think just farming Senna with Leona plus Nautilus sounds actually fine. Like you cannot like one-shot them, but you can CC them for a long time as well. So I think it's one of the great tools right now. When it was fasting Senna. Oh.
Okay, no.
Is it supportive support from Lehans? Yes, it is happening.
Yeah. I mean, he does still have the Glitter Lance, you know, and throw out a bit of damage.
True, and Polymorph as well, but yeah, I'm not sure about this though. Like when Hanwha Live, they didn't have like playmaking support, only hands, they were always struggling. So that is still question mark, but we'll see. And Cannon for Reach is
I don't know about this. Cannon's going to be locked in, but that gives Miru so many good ultimates. In fact, every ultimate that they've picked right now is amazing.
Sure. For
the Sylas to steal away. It's one of Rich's sort of original picks, but I would have liked something else. As Guga, let's see what he's going to be playing. I think, you know, sets up. You can pick that one if he wants to. There's Tahm Kench as well if they want to go the OG. But I think this is the right call, as Set is going to be locked away.
Yeah. And now Mir is having a greatest game for Sylas mid lane.
Oh yeah, it's just the best possible experience. As that's Camille locked in for Dudu. It's going to be a difficult early game, but should be able to control the side lane as things continue. And 1-3-1 now a big possibility for Hanwha. Dynamics, though, they've got a lot of teamfight power, and they might be able to utilize that to come out ahead.
Yeah, maybe a little bit slow tempo from Senna, but I think it's well balanced team comp wise. So I think it depends on the jungle pathing in the early game, especially when you're playing against Olaf. Last time when he played Volibear, he was 2 levels behind in the early game, right? So I think it shouldn't be happening in this game as well. So he should able to find some plays, look for the plays while your bot lane is having a CC train comp like Senna plus Set. We saw yesterday like how strong it is. So they should look for some proactive plays. But on the other hand, Hanwha Live, I think they could just play slow and just look for the Ashe late game or just Sylas mirrors super play, and you have side lane potential with the Camille and Sylas. So you can just play safe and just be smarter about the skirmishes.
I also think that Olaf is actually a lot better in the late game if he has a Lulu there. I think Wild Growth really does help out Olaf as far as like holding on to relevance as the game. So I don't mind how this comp is being put together, but I don't think they ever want a team fight. They need to try and play those smoke and mirrors games, get out of any team fight opportunities because their composition probably not going to be able to wombo quite as well as what Dynamics can. Let's see how it goes as we've got Senna cantering out onto the rift. There we go. I like that it's Senna doing it on a team with Rich, who used to play a game where you could actually use mounts.
That's true.
Yeah, there we go. Shout out to a dead esport, unfortunately. As Rich is going to ping himself, or someone's going to ping him, asking him what's going on, as we're just checking out this particular chroma. It's a pretty cool one. It's a gigantic gun.
Yeah, greeny green.
Yeah.
Do you like greens?
Green is my favorite color, actually.
I love to eat greens, yeah.
Oh yeah, as in like veggies? Yeah. I'm a fan. I in fact just like food in general. Yeah. What I really liked was that when I was a kid, I was allowed to like just be as greedy as I wanted to, as long as I was eating salad or vegetables of any kind.
Yeah. So they are looking for some vegetables in the jungle.
Mm-hmm. There's Guga. Oh, he sees a lot of vegetables there, but it's too many. He can't actually go to the banquet hall, as it's just not going to be allowed to. That's going to be a steal on the red buff. As Beyond, he's going to take his blue, probably just enter the enemy jungle, and take that one away. As you can see, Docdam already set up in lane, but isn't actually going to be able to get any sort of advantage. And in fact, Guga's in trouble. The exhaust immediately down onto Docdam, as Humble Life are angry this game. What the heck? Guga's like almost dead already.
I mean, I think Guga, he's skilled E level 1, but if you're playing his range, I think you should just start off with W and look for the trade back, but I think he kind of failed in a range and skill set. That made...
You're absolutely right.
Yeah, that made a horrible trade. And I mean, because I know this because of Life. He was doing that.
Yep. Well, Miru down here on the bottom side, fighting against Kuzan, but won't win out in these early trades. Sand Soldier's pretty powerful. And still not doing too badly. See how Rich goes. Is Doran's blade towards the top side. Cad going to turn up and take down his Krug camp. But it looks like the 3 buff is going to ensue. It's okay. Let's see how well this bottom lane actually stabilizes after this, as Docdam does manage to actually pick up that last little creep there.
I mean, it's still okay. Seth has one of the greatest health region, and you have Senna as your AD carry, so they can heal up, but the problem of this is that Senna is really hard to pick up some CS on the turret, so I think they're gonna miss some creeps. Plus,
doing a pretty good job.
Yeah. Pretty good job.
Yeah, Guga needed to help him for that last one, but is able to get it regardless. Good glitter lance there from Lehens as this lane. I mean, Harmor Life are always going to win this lane, right? They should, and they are.
Yeah.
So let's just see how well Dynamics hold on the bottom side of the map, because so far, I mean, they're not too far behind. Oh, I was a bit scared there for a second, but thankfully, Cat is able to grab that one. Jungle item OP. Is Beyond looking into the enemy jungle here. Miru. He's very, very low, but Beyond's only level 3, so tower dives are difficult. Oh god. This could just be a flash. Flash stun. As Miru is actually getting out of the way of his tower. Storm Strike comes down. Miru's slowed, but it looks like he is going to be okay here. Snare comes in. Lehens in a little bit of trouble. Facebreaker comes down. Haymaker for a fair bit of damage. Lehens, you could see, he was trying to bait, but of course, that ward in the brush is going to give away all of that information. And Dynamics, they have lost a turret plate, but they haven't lost their lives yet.
But the lane is getting hard because of the trade.
Oh yeah.
But the jungle control is going really hard from Cad, actually.
Beyond has to flash. Immediate flash after it there from Cad. Not sure what he was doing that for, as he's just going to die. First blood goes to Kuzan, and that was 100% an unforced error out of the Olaf.
I think he had no mana, but he was looking for finishing off the Olaf. I mean, the Vladimir. But
Oh, Viper, immediate cleanse as Dr. Has to go underwater, but will survive.
No puedes matar a quien no ves.
Maybe a Cloud Drake is our soul.
oh yeah. Obviously, they are having a hard time with the bot lane because of the matchup, also because of what happened at level 1. That was really clever trade with Exhaust at level 1 that happened by Unalive. And great vision control as well. If you have the pressure, just get the vision control, not just randomly hitting the turret when you didn't put the ward, like doo-doo. Such a great top lane vision control as well. So Unalive, I think they have better structure when it comes to the team game. Feels like they want to control more than having a random plays like the game 1 and game 2. It's already improved.
Well, Empress Divide's absolutely everywhere as Cad comes in. Flash out from Kuzan. See whether he survives, and he's not going to. Miru tanks up the turret a couple of times, and that is going to be a kill onto the mid laner. And he just teleported back to lane as well. Absolute disaster for Dynamics.
That was such a clever play by Mirror. He just flashed on Azir to block his dash. So that's why Kuzan was hard stuck right there. And oh well, that was the way how you just kill on Azir. First of all, landing an ultimate on Azir was just perfect timing. And second, just block Azir's dash with your flash. And
oh, there it is.
perfect timing.
Really nicely done. And undertow landing as well from Cad. Nice work. Unfortunate there for Kuzan. He's got his lost chapter. Has a dagger as well. Gonna go Nash's Tooth immediately after this. And he's still ahead in farm, so not exactly the worst possible situation, as there's Hextech Ultimatum towards the top side. Cad coming on over as well, but that's a good stun out from Rich, and he holds onto his flash and his ulti, and everything's gonna be fine.
Yeah, they're just pushing out Kennen because he was having a great time on the top side against Camille. So he just needed to reset the wave and just go for the base. That was just refreshing play by Cad. Because of this, maybe Dynamics' bot lane can play a lot more aggressive on the bot side, but nothing is gonna change. They're behind the CS, they lost 2 plates already, and the Drake control is on Unalive esports side, so I'm wondering how they're gonna deal with the header play, because it seems like when they want to, Unalive esports, they can have bot lane control, which means that their bot lane can always move first, and this is maybe the last time that Dynamics' bot lane can move towards the header, so they're using this window.
Yep, right now you've got Beyond on the Rift Herald, teleport in actually, as Rich will use it in order to get over and help out his jungler. He was going to use it to get back to top lane anyway, so he may as well just go down and guarantee, but now Viper and Lands get spare time with the outer turret on the bottom side of the map. And it should be that Dynamics can collect themselves the Rift Herald, and they do.
Yeah.
Dr. Let's see whether he can actually avoid a dive, and he does so. Of course, no one in this area. Cad on his Raptor camp right now, as we can see.
Yeah, this was the last window that they could have with their bot lane, and they used it perfectly. So great timing and great setup by Dynamics.
Oh dear. 4-man dive possibility heading down towards the bottom side. Piercing Darkness over Lehens. Full health bars for the Dynamics bottom lane this time, so they're not doing too badly. As Dudu loses out on a couple of trades, but as far as farm is concerned, he's absolutely even. No worries whatsoever.
Oh yeah, and maybe their bot lane is having a hard time, but Dynamics' top side control is on point, and they have full control. And maybe their bot lane is having a hard time, but I think top side has to pressure. They have full control, and maybe their bot lane is having electrocute.
Yeah, he's trying, as you can see, but not really working out here as tries to use the lightning rush, but not able to land the shuriken. Dudu is slowly getting pressured, eating through his refillable potions as often as he possibly can. Okay. Lens pushes forward. Let's see whether Hanwha can actually get a bit of a siege here. Cad in the area. As there are pings all over the place. 5 seconds on this Infernal Drake before that one is going to come back up again. 600 gold, the lead for Hanwha. Still remember, Dynamics do like a team fight with this composition. And they have hit level 6 on everyone as over goes Miru. Beyond gets himself the shield from his Storm Strike. And the ulti comes out, the stolen one. Miru wants back-to-back POGs. This Silas looks so damn good. The Ignite comes forward. Kingslayer's going to keep Miru alive. And he gets himself a shield. Arrow is going to pierce the heavens. And there's not enough hay to be made here for the set. Oh no, you don't fade away in range of a Kingslayer against a set, my friend. That was just not okay.
Yeah, again, Mir, his knowledge about this champion is just way too good, man. Canceling, soaking the Azir's ultimate with the Volibear, hijack Volibear ultimate, and just having a tons of damage on double target. And at the same time, Cat helping him on the mid lane with the Viper's Ashe ultimate as well. Everything is synchronized, well structured. Hanwha Life is doing a lot of great things as a team, and especially on the top there is Mir. Like his Silas is just different level.
Yeah, he's super good. He is behind in farm and in turret plates. Kuzan's been able to grab a couple of extra ones in comparison to him. Let's just see whether the Emperor's Divides are going to be better from the Azir or whether they'll be better from the Silas. Beyond, up towards the top side at the moment. Wanting to see what the Camille is up to. Right now she's just farming things out and does have Cad in her back pocket as well. And Cad has changed up his item build just a little bit. He's gone back for the center holders. Let's have a look at Miru's perspective here at this moment.
Look here. Look at the Volibear. Think about the Senna ulti. Go here. I'm alive. Set has flash. Come here. I got the ultimate of the target. Nice. How was it, man? Get us right. Great. Great close.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all 5-man comps, so it's kind of confusing, but it's okay. Like, Cat was really happy about his play, and he was asking how was it to all the teammates, but no one was answering, and the last sentence was, get Drake, jungler.
Oh no. The Canadian dollar just really not given enough. So sad, poor guy.
It's the jungler's life, you know?
Yep, that's exactly right. Let's see whether he can make any more super plays and maybe get the recognition of his team. As Dynamics will be able to clear out this wave quite easily. This turret will stay alive and not give up any more plates. And they weren't actually able to get any throughout this game either. They're 20 CS behind, so the bottom lane hasn't been having the greatest time here for Dynamics, as we were expecting. Let's see whether they can transition into a mid to late game feeling a little bit better. Because, of course, Senna does scale pretty damn well as this game goes on. And Dr. and Gugo just throw a bunch of spells there. Dudu in a little bit of trouble here, as he will get stunned up, and Rich is starting to be frustrating with his proto belt now completed. But Mirror's going to come up. His wall just dissipated. And now Rich is going to say, yeah, no. He's a doctor, so he knows exactly what to do.
And Mirror is just controlling this game with his jungler, so he doesn't need to make some random plays. It's all about him, and he should make right play at the right place, and he can get another POG, I guess. But the bot lane is the point.
Yeah, that arrow is just going to go wide as Beyond is looking for Dudu. Does get a good stun there onto the bear, but it's Dynamics not going to have too much of an issue with the turret, as Dudu eventually going to go down. The Slicing Maelstrom's going to do it. As now a Ragnaroking Olaf is just hanging out underneath the turret, as Beyond looking very big and menacing, now walking towards him. It's Rich that picks up the turret aggro. They're seeing whether they can get another kill, and Kuzan's going to be able to collect it there. Very nicely done from Dynamics. 2 kills on the top side of the map, and they'll take the turret.
And
Ooh. Yeah, Miru not really going to be able to answer too much, as he doesn't even throw a chain into the brush there. Didn't quite know where the bear was. That's alright, there's a Hex Flash. Guga looking for the ulti, finds it, as Lahen's now going to get ignited. Doc Dum immediately cleanses, but straight away is going to be slowed down by the Glitter Lance. And Hanwha Life will get out, but double flash and exhaust is going to be the price.
yeah, the reason why Dudu was going in again is because of TP, but on the mid lane, Azir cancelled the TP, so that's why he couldn't actually come to the top side to save his Camille at the right timing. And after that, Olaf is alone without Ragnarok, so it's easy to dive. And yeah, Azir has TP as well. Looking for the kill. Clean play overall by Dynamics.
Yeah, very nicely done. As Cad now once again on the run, as Beyond now finds himself alone 1 versus 3, but the volley does connect. There's another redemption that comes forward. The Lahen special, as the arrow's not going to connect, but the bear is still dead. 4 kills to 3 now in favor of Hanwha Life.
And Drake is in 10 seconds, by the way, and it's soul point for Hanwha Life Esports. And it's Cloud soul point as well when you have Silas. It's one of the greatest game, again, for the mid lane Silas, I assume.
Yeah, definitely the dream. You just want to be hijacking as many ultimates in the team fight as possible. Certainly a way to do it, as Dynamics will just give this one up without a fight. And Guga, yeah, no way that he's going to be able to do anything as he just wanders away. So, Cloud Drake, the first one of the game, going to be picked up here 5 minutes, 22 minutes into the game. And Cloud Soul will be available here for Hanwha Life.
Oh yeah, and Dynamics stopped most of the members from Hanwha Life, but not yet. Mir is still strong enough to take the fight as a hero. So I think it's all about
Right. Empress Divide goes down as he picks up the Volley Bear ultimate right as he turns up. That was actually really sexy out of Miru. Escapes and wanders on back. Is this just a Miru highlight reel? Like, what's going on today?
Yeah, I think he's one of the best Silas player in Korea, in my opinion. Like, his mechanics are the soft point.
Absolutely. Surprised that Dynamics didn't ban that one away, as we're going to check out this very old replay.
Yeah, great pickup by Hanwha Life. When the Volibear has no ultimate, he's kind of nothing. It seems like Alyssa walking around without any combos.
Yeah. Pretty odd. Cad going to be able to take down his red buff. And Miru looking to try and answer Rich here towards the top side of the map. I mean, despite the fact that Miru's made some super plays, he's still 1,000 gold behind somehow. And the same can be said for Dudu there up towards the top side. Also, might explain the fact that the gold is so incredibly close. In fact, Dynamics with a slight advantage. But the Dragons are really what separates these two squads right now. As well as late game split push potential being well and truly in favor of Hanwha. Slicing Maelstrom comes down from Rich. Miru throws out one of his own. Rich goes golden. And another redemption comes in. Rich is not going to survive for long enough as Beyond turns up. At 4 versus 2, you probably take those odds if you are Team Dynamics. Is now Cad trying to run away. Miru just running around through the alcoves. And looks like he is going to be ignored and may just escape. Yeah, that's an arrow to the face. And Miru just going to wander down the river. And it looks like he's going to be safe.
It's definitely a highlight game for Amir. I think they just put every single plays that he made in this game, and we're gonna have this game highlight.
Nailed it. It's all too easy. Player of the game, comfortably given, assuming that they're going to win. But that was a trade of, 1 for 1 as far as kills. But Hanwha Life got themselves 2 turrets and stole away a red buff. Have complete control of the bottom side of the map. And yeah, definitely not good news for Dynamics.
Yeah, better rotation, better macro, better understanding about the game. And I really think they should just focus on Mir though. Like, Cat is not having a bounty or anything, and Mir is just one of the important targets that you should focus on, because he's the main part of the Hana life right now. But yeah, that's a little bit sad. Focus on that topside situation, but I guess that's what Dynamics did. So they're pretty behind right now. So they need to come over this situation with such a great team fight with Kennen and Azir. Otherwise, I think Hana Life is gonna control the side lanes comfortably and having a great side lane prior into mid lane prior. So the game will be really one-sided if nothing is gonna happen until Hana Life is gonna get side lane prior.
Yep. 2,000 gold is their lead at the moment. And it just feels like Dynamics don't really have much of a plan. It's like they want to take fights, they don't really know why. And they're sort of just throwing themselves at their opposition.
Yeah, so Kennen is giving up side lane prior, walking towards mid, but nothing is happening. So those kind of small details are gonna make so many huge gold difference when it comes to CS.
Yeah, Arrow is going to connect there. As you can see, Hextech Ultimatum. And Guga throws out the Haymaker, but he's still going to be dead. Lasts quite a long time as the Blast Cone causes a ruckus.
TP
Now
cancelled.
Viper might be in trouble. There's the Emperor's Divide, but hits no one. And it's a double kill for the Camille. Docdom trying to run away, and he should escape. But it still looks like it will be the Baron for Hanwha Life.
This time around, Mir actually got the revenge on Kuzan. Reach, I guess. Reach tried to TP from the bottom side, but he got cancelled by Mir, and he solo killed and casually TP'd on the top side, on the Nash.
Well, all too clean. Easy Baron comes over for Hanwha Life, and this might be the beginning of the end for Dynamics.
Yeah.
Definitely been a fun series, though, as still there was a corpse on the bottom side.
Yeah, I think they are better when it comes to the macro. Like, they know how to... Okay.
나 가둘게 가둘게.
나 캔 잡았어.
I cancelled him.
네트도 잡았다.
I got the cannon.
원래 높을?
We got the
Oh,
cannon.
he waited till for the last second as well. That was actually so smart out of Miro.
Azir no flash. Oh yeah, everyone is like focusing on the target. Such a great play. And our LCK production improved as well.
Oh yeah. Always beautiful. Docdom a little bit late on the ulti as well, which is a little bit of a shame, because the Emperor's Divide did nothing. Did a bit of damage to Cad, but he had Ragnarok, so no issues there.
But yeah, it's time to just push the turret. Everything is going great for Hana Live Esports. Just get some vision control.
Oh, Arrow on to Docdom. He is mega dead.
Mega
Epically dead. Miru is going to come in through the backside, and the ulti is going to be followed bear upon bear action as Rich is trying to fight against Dudu, but this is a 23-minute battle against a Camille, and Rich is... No, oh, okay. He escapes at least. Doesn't win the fight, but he is at least going to... Oh, for now. Oh,
Sad
the
B.
sad B comes out as he dies to a Tiamat. Oh, it feels so bad. As Cloud Soul was collected as well. Baron, Cloud Soul, Dead Inhibitor. Dead Cannon and Volibear also. How are they supposed to fight without their Teddy Ursa and their Volibear? And their Pikachu. Very, very difficult. That's like all of the Pokemon on the team. Actually, no, this is a triple Pokemon comp. They've got Pidgeotto, as well as Teddy Ursa and Pikachu. It's a dream.
That is true. But yeah, the structure from Hana Live is just way more better than Dynamics right now. And yeah, on the top side, 1v1 situation, when Camille is having so many items more than Kennen right now. It's just easy 1v1 for him. And
Yeah,
this
I thought
Pikachu-
that he might escape here, but yeah, wasn't enough. Blast Cone too strong. As we're going to have a look at a fight here towards the bottom side. There are ultimates just flying everywhere as the Azir going to be taken down first. Guga gets into the backside trying to remove Mirror from the fight, but it's just not really going to be enough as Hanwha Life are obliterating Team Dynamics. And Mirror is just going to wander after him. And yeah, eventually taken down, but he was playing with his food for a moment. I think, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be the end of the game, as Doctum is going to chill out for a few moments on his fountain just before this one is over. Might be able to kill Viper, but he has cleanse, so he's going to be absolutely fine. One more Nexus turret between Harmwell Life and their first victory in a very, very long time. This must feel very cathartic as Harmwell Life killed the Nexus for the final time here in the LCK for summer 2020.
Truly true. Not sure about the quality about the game, but they still showed up. They have better experience in LCK and better macro as well. And I mean, especially it showed up that the Viper and Lehans is still great players and do not give Mir Silas.
Yeah, Mira also showing that he's a fantastic player just in general. I felt like, I mean, yes, he's fantastic at Silas, but playing Silas means you need to know the ultimates of every champion in the game, right? Or at least every champion in the meta. And he was utilizing them just so beautifully in that game, always picking the exact right one for the situation. Just a joy to watch, and I hope that he gets back-to-back POGs as Harmwell Life come back from a Game 1 loss and get the reverse sweep in this best of 3. On the eve of the playoffs, they're not going to be a part of them, but it must feel good to go out with a bit of a bang. Dynamics managed to win one in the last week, and Harmwell Life have now done the same thing.
Oh yeah, and I think for Dynamics, even though they lost last match, I think they showed up the great performance, at least in LCK, and they proved that they deserve in LCK though. They showed up some great macros in the earlier season. Maybe there was some disappointing towards the bot lane, but at the game 2, Doctum was having a great time with the kiting, and Booger, he's known as playmaking support as well, so I think everyone in Dynamics had such a great time in LCK, and I really want to see them next year as well. And
yeah, I'd like to, as we're going to check out some of these highlights. Some questions about franchising certainly going to be on a lot of people's minds as the season draws to a close, as this was just such a whoopsie.
I guess he had the mana. I mean, I thought like he had no mana and like he failed his combination, but I guess that was just hiccup. But this super play, mega play, was so clean by Mir right there.
Yeah.
So this is
and
just Mir's
also,
highlight,
look
right?
At this. Oh
yeah.
My god, the timing.
This is just Mir's highlight.
Yep, this will be basically the same as our POG highlights. As Guga, that was so dumb. That was really dumb, actually.
Yeah. We're gonna watch this highlight again when the POG rebuilds, right?
Yeah. It's basically gonna.
Maybe
be
this one
like.
is not gonna be on that highlight, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, this one was more of a Dynamics highlight.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, Hana Life, they had so many roster changes, and like you might forgot, but there is Vista as well, who tried support and AD carry.
Yep.
And also he tried mid lane in SoloQ to fill up the mid lane as well. So like Hana, they tried so many different trainees and ended up not a great result, I guess, but at the end we found out there is great rookie player on the top side, which is Dudu, and also jungler Cat and Yamje. And at the end, instead of Lava, Mir showed up such a great performance with his champion. So I think I'm really excited to.
I think you're right.
Yeah, I'm excited to see their future plays like in 2021. I think they can be a lot stronger than this year.
Yep, Dudu as well. Shout out to him. I mean, that last X-Tech Ultimatum was absolutely fantastic, avoiding the Emperor's Divide very beautifully. Some sick mechanics out of these teams. The macro was basically non-existent throughout this entire series, but it did lead to some very fun team fights. As we do have a look at the damage, Cannon did a hell of a lot, but it ultimately didn't matter. And Miro topping the damage for his team. Pretty impressive. This wasn't necessarily the Viper carry game, but in the end, as you can see by the gold graph, it was, pretty comfortable for Harmwell Life.
Comfortable game, clean macro, And
Yeah.
everything was just so great. Draft as well. Like because of the draft, the Ashe Lulu had the great laning phase as well. So yeah, everything worked out. But sadly, it's just end of the split. You know.
Yeah, that's the last we're going to see of these teams, and we're going to get a solo POG interview, I believe, with Miru this time around. Assuming he does pick up the player of the game, we're going to have that one revealed very, very shortly. If it isn't 9 out of 9, I'll eat the hat, because he was absolutely fantastic this game. And there he is, 4-0-6 on the Sylas.
Yeah. Just bring me highlight again. Just
let's
turn
just
it on.
replay it.
Just turn it on. Replay. Okay. Yeah. Just look how he blocks the Azir's dash with the flash. Once again. We saw it 5 times, but such a great play. It's worth to rewatch it.
Yeah, I'm definitely okay with it. There are some of these replays that I get a little bit upset about, but this one definitely not one of those. Oh, Emperor's Divide timing pretty unfortunate there for Kuzan, as it turns out, but they were too far behind at this stage of the game anyway.
This didn't matter that much anyways.
Yeah, I don't think this was a Miru highlight. Him just waiting for a few moments to kill Guga. He let Guga kill a ward, and then died as, oh no, I'm gonna have to eat a hat. Viper got 2 votes for some reason. Why?
For some reason, yeah.
What?
I mean, he did a great job, but you know, everything is fine.
Well, I'm gonna have to make a hat out of cake, I think, because I don't really feel like eating a hat. Let's throw it over to G-Sun for some interview translation with Miru.
Thank you very much, guys. Let's hear from Miru, another solo mid laner POG coming out from Hana Life Esports this time around. How do you feel, Miru? It's so sweet, this victory. I'm happy that we're able to make it happen after a long while. Your Sylas was popping off. How was your performance today? I hope you can watch the VOD again because the casters were also so hyped. I was confident and even more confident than I usually was, so I think I was able to perform even better. I'm pretty much satisfied with my performance. Hana Life Esports looked quite powerless up against Sandbox Gaming, so the result for today was a little bit unsure, but today you guys stepped up a lot. So what kind of feedback did you guys have after that match? Well, this was our last series, so we wanted to have fun and enjoy the game. That was the advice from our coaching staff, so we were able to play this game without any pressure. We're seeing a lot more Sylas versus Azir matchup on mid lane, so what's your thought on that? I think Azir is a scaling champion. The Sylas does not have an easy time up before the 5 level mark, but as soon as he hits level 6, it all depends on the skill level of the Sylas player. So your signature picks are Galio and Sylas. And well, they did ban out Galio, but they allowed you to play Sylas. Which one do you prefer, Galio or Sylas? I think I play Sylas better. Well, you are popping off with Sylas in game number 2, but they once again opened Sylas for you in game 3. Well, I guess they didn't really think that my Sylas was not spicy enough for them. The bottom duos are also performing on point. What has changed overall in Hana Life Esports? Our bottom duos have always been performing great. And now the Spencer, so hyped up about your performance. You saw your highest ceiling in your Sylas game, so like people are calling you Miruki, and also Dudu the Dushai, the Tiger of the East. You've got all the best nicknames after that game. How do you feel, Miru, about all those compliments? Well, I mean, I'm just happy. Hana Life Esports was able to wrap up the split with a win. So what's your goal for next year? I want to make a bigger champion pool. So I want to have more favorite picks and I want to improve my performance. Any specific goal in terms of playoffs or standings? Maybe it's too soon. I just want to risk the highest ceiling. And fans are so amazed by Hana Life Esports' performance today. So, any last message for the fans? Any message from your head coach? Any message over to your family? This was our last match of the split, so I'm happy that we were able to get the dub. All we can do is improving, so I think our fans can keep supporting us and keep looking forward to seeing more of us. I guess this performance was a very promising move coming out from Hana Life Esports. And once again, congratulations on your win. And once again, congratulations on the win for the entire Hana Life Esports members. And this will be the end of the
Thank you so much, Ji-sun, for the interview translation as per usual. And great to hear from Miru. And also great that Hana Life were able to grab a victory before the end of the season. Hoping that we'll be able to have a look at what Hana Life are doing next year. As we do hope that they manage to get into franchised LCK. Still have no idea which teams we're going to have. Very excited to find out what 2021 is going to look like. But first, we have playoffs. As these are the final standings before we head towards said playoffs. Dam1 in first, DRX in second, Genji and T1 in third and fourth, and then Afrika in the last playoff position in fifth. KT will also be playing again in the World's Gauntlet. They will be in the very first match of that one, given the fact that they were able to pick up 10 championship points. And this is going to be your playoffs draft. T1 versus Afrika is going to be happening only in a few days' time, guys. It's going to be on Wednesday. And this one's going to be interesting. I think it's likely that T1 are going to be able to pick up that victory, but the manner of which they do so is going to be very important because Genji looked dominant towards the end of this season.
Oh, especially Genji's bot lane was just stomping everyone in dual lane. So I think it's really fun to see how it's going to work out at the playoffs round one. And yeah, I mean, also Download Gaming, they're going to wait at the finals, so I'm scary about them as well.
It's not often the greatest thing that waiting in the finals. We've seen a lot of teams get screwed over by that one. Griffin and, of course, Genji being two examples of it. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't had enough Wadid, he is going to be on the LEC broadcast as my cat just wanders across the screen.
True.
Yes, Wadid, you're going to be hanging out on the LEC broadcast. It's coming up in like, what, 20 minutes?
Yeah.
All right, well, you might need to get changed, something like that, maybe get a bite to eat. I'm personally going to go to bed because today has been really, really long. That's going to do it for the regular season of the LCK for 2020. We'll see you in playoffs in a few days' time. Good night.
Siente mi poder. Esto te pa... por cotillear nuestros oscuros. ¡Dame un festillo!
Gracias. Siguiente. ¡Venga, venid!
¡Hermano! ¡Has de cumplir con tu tarea! ¿Puedo decir qué guapo? ¡Qué guapo! Y ahora a la nave. Diario personal, día 76. Mi Vincent está muy nocturno últimamente. Me preocupa. Parece... distante y dirigido. No sé si distraído. No dejará de decir que está progresando, pero es muy pronto para compartir sus hallazgos. Está pasando por esa tormenta maravillosa.
Seeing monsters out your window. No, you can't sleep, you pretend though. You don't have to play the hero. 'Cause I got you like you got me. When the earth shakes, when the bombs scream. Until our last breath, every heartbeat. When my sword, yeah, there's nothing I won't do. When you sound the alarm till the chaos is rising, leading the charge, I'm coming, I'm fighting. Swear on the breath that I breathe, I'll never retreat, yeah, I'll be your army. Music keeps me on and on. You got the feeling. The music keeps me singing. Music keeps me dancing. Music keeps me dancing. Music keeps me dancing. Music keeps me on and on. You got the feeling. The music keeps me singing. Music keeps me dancing. Music keeps me dancing. Music keeps me dancing.
No warning, in a flash of light. Don't need no warning. This feeling's right. Vibrations chill through my bones. Sensations flow through your glow. So incredible, the way I feel with you, so phenomenal. And you always push me through, unforgettable. The way I feel with you, unbelievable. And you always push me through, electrify with you, electrify. Electrify with you. So flight, my heart's convulsing. This feeling's right, vibrations chill through my bones, sensations flow through your glow. So incredible, the way I feel with you, so phenomenal. And you always push me through, unforgettable. The way I feel with you, unbelievable. And you always push me through, electrified. Electrified with you, electrified. Electrified. Electrified with you, electrified. Electrified with you.
To the ground, you're dragging me. It's constantly. No, I won't make a sound. I love the pain. It sets me free. It's wrong, I can't make right. I love the bird below you, set myself. But this is the last. Cause you say those things, then shut me out. Got no clue what you have found. I'm a rose in thorns, but you cut me down. It's wrong, I can't make right. I love the bird below you, set myself. But this is the last. It's wrong, I can't make right. Slipping off in the moonlight when I knew the truth. I had myself for you. I know the truth.
Menuda piratilla estoy hecha. ¡Tas, tas, tas! ¡Ordenadores!
Vale, te mandaré a trampa mortal para que te eche un cable. No me gusta alejarme de él, pero si no, a ver cómo accedo al sistema. Pero no hay tiempo para que vaya volando hasta la montaña, así que vas a tener que acceder al digitalizador que hay por ahí para que pueda enviártelo. Escucha, nene, tú puedes, pero ten mucho cuidado, ¿vale? Venga, ve. Ve antes de que cambie de opinión.
I live
inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in the cradles, profanities. I see the world through eyes covered in cross out the ones who hurt my cries and watch me weep. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. The world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright.
Yo sé lo que es tener un robo colega. Cuentaré de él, Gage.
No me decepciones, nene. Mierda. Hemos despertado un enjambre de críticos por trastear con el sistema, pero ahora tienes a un robot asesino a tu lado.
Take my eyes open to force reality. Why can't you just let me eat my weight in
Rica
bleed?
añeja de sopapo.
I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in their cradles, profanities. Some days I feel skinnier than all the other days. Sometimes I can't tell if my body moves. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Content, deep breath and feel the tension. Always hide behind redemption. Honesty is the one-way gate to hell. I wanna taste consumption. Faster to waste stocks that you hear the children sing aloud. It's music too, but it burns out. Be carefree lately, just picking up daisies. Got one too many quarters in my pocket. Count 'em like the 4-leaf clovers in my pocket. Untied places, just tripping on daisies. Dirty little alibis playing. Might as well just ride around the nursery and count sheep.
Necesito que interfieras directamente con el servidor de la nave para que pueda entrar en los sistemas. ¿Lo entiendes, nene?
Ven aquí y haz lo que mejor sabes hacer.
Take down in emotions, feel like I never did before. Life shows him spoken, reels of the movie I ignored. Blue skies sound broken, sea and I'm stuck up on the shore. I never thought you could see me where you've been. All I know is you're here.
Lista. Vale, así en el futuro cercano ya no acabaréis derretidos. Trampa mortal, te estoy mandando los planos. Ve tú delante. Lo estoy enviando a la base de datos del cuaderno de bitácora. En el sistema no pone dónde está el pedazo de corazón, así que espero que Eleanor haya dejado alguna pista.
Your front line can't die because you have a million shields, you have a million heals, and she also pumps out a ton of damage.
Yeah, exactly. When those two AD carries are down, Senna is the go-to. You saw yesterday G2 first picked it on blue side, first rotating it on red side when possible. And paired with Nautilus, it just has such a good lane, such a good team fight. And yeah, and then moving on to jungle, you've got Hecarim and Lilia. These two champs are tier 1 champs, I think. You saw Lilia being first picked, being banned out, Hecarim being first rotated. I think they're probably arguably the 2 strongest junglers as far as playoffs are concerned. I think Seth is also up there with them, but I think these 2 are the best farming junglers right now.
I think the question is the team you're playing against capable of smashing you through the early game? We saw G2 did that in a couple games, and the scaling junglers looked much weaker. But if you can't do that, then it's going to be Lilia versus Hecarim in a lot of games.
And summarize the Shen situation for me shortly. What's going on? We've
lots of Shen. Yeah, I feel like
lost.
no. I think Shen, he lost a lot of games, but I do think it's a solid pick. He got some buffs a couple patches ago, but he has like pretty solid laning into most matchups. And then I also think in a game that's so focused around bot lane and early dragons, like his ultimate offers you so much utility in those.
Yeah, it feels like Shen only really has 1 counter in the Gangplank, and apart from that, his lane phase is strong. He has the ult if you want to play side lanes, and he has the ult if you want to play teamfights for Drake.
Indeed, a couple of picks we're keeping our eyes on, but today we're also going to learn some tricks from one of the pros. Not Ender, it's Kadril. He's going to be pulling out the jungle handbook, and we're going to be talking specifically about farming junglers who have been so active and so present in these playoffs. First off, Kadril, as you're going to break it down for us, tell me which champion specifically are we looking at here?
So you can see on screen here, you've got Hecarim, Nidalee, Lilia, Nocturne, and Kha'Zix. There are a few other farming junglers, sort of out meta. You've got the Echo, the Karthus, and stuff like that. But these champs are the ones that are rising to power across the world. You've got Nidalee in the LCK, Nocturne in the LPL, and Kha'Zix, Lilia, and Hecarim popping up a lot in the LEC.
What do these junglers provide for a team?
So the strength of the farming jungler is, obviously, I think if you just keep farming, level 6 or even your jungle item spike is the key. You can see the clear is so quick, you can do raptors really fast, you can do all these AoE on the camps a lot, so you can pick up the camps really quick, and I think that once you hit 6 and you got your jungle item, you're so strong in teamfights, you're so strong in 1v1s, and you just provide so much more than these early game junglers.
Sounds all like good news to me, but there must be some weaknesses as well.
Yeah, obviously there's a big weakness to farming junglers. First of all, they don't have a lot of CC, and if you don't have a lot of CC, you can't gank, so they're kind of stuck in their jungle, and also their kits are really weak in the early game, so if you do get invaded or you do get slowed down, like farming junglers like to grow exponentially, keep the farm up, get faster and faster and faster, but if you get slowed down, you fall behind quite quickly.
We have seen it can be devastating. Yesterday, Shadow on Lilia, that was quite the sight. How can you, as the enemy team, weaponize yourself against these junglers and what they can bring?
So Lilia and Hecarim are being picked a lot now, so you can either choose to pick something like Set into it and try to use your laners to invade them, slow them down, force them out, and just get them sort of like a level behind, maybe invade their second buffs, invade their second raptor spawn, and once you do that, you can get to level 5, 6 first as the early game jungler, and then start to force dragons, start to force drakes, and just make chaos around the map.
What if everything's banned out and you can't counterpick?
Well, Set is quite a common ban, so you could also just opt into going for farming jungler yourself. You know, you can just pick up the Kha'Zix, you can pick up a Nocturne into sort of like the Hecarim, you can just keep going for the alpha farm, and I mean, as we see in this clip here, Jankos just goes for the mid gank onto Humanoid, flashes on him. Even if Humanoid doesn't really die here, the whole concept is so good because Caps will always have the push now. Luckily they get the kill, so when it comes to level 3, Caps has the push on Humanoid, which is kind of uncommon in this matchup, and is able to sort of give Jankos a favor in a buddy system. Now I'm going to gank your jungler for you. So he pushes Shadow out, Jankos gets the second Raptor respawn, and not only is he already a level ahead, he's going to get even further ahead.
And that's the buddy system, just helping each other out to snowball the game. You also wanted to look at an example from FlyQuest's win over C9?
Yeah, so in this clip we've got Sandstorm on Lilia. He goes for an early level 1 invade, which is really powerful. And Blabber tries to contest it. Now it is sort of a 50-50 here, but Sandstorm's brought his laners with him, and he knows that Nocturne's weak level 1, because obviously he's a farming jungler. So now that Blabber lost the Raptors and he gets forced out, and he actually dies, Sandstorm takes his red buff, and now he's already 2 camps down running from base. And now Solo's ward, you can see on the top side of the map, is just next to his blue buff. And Sandstorm doesn't see him, so he runs through mid, brings his friend, the buddy system's inactive again, is here again, brings Power Evil with him to the blue. They see Blabber start it, and he has no flash. And I think if it was just a pure 1v1 here, I think obviously Sandstorm could win with the red buff, but just having Power Evil for that safety is so important. And now Blabber is 0-2, no buffs, level 2, he's out of the game.
TLDR, these junglers can be incredibly strong, but as we saw also with Lilia, you do have to watch out. You have to have a plan. You can't just run in and not track the enemy jungler, because that's going to go bad for you.
You have to be very careful with these farming junglers. You need a lot of setup on your lanes. Things like we saw yesterday with Mad Lions, Camille Galio with the Lilia. It provides so much engage, so much frontline, and it's not so much volatility. I think if you have volatile lanes and you have these farming junglers, it's really hard to help them out because you need the resources. So you need sort of self-sufficient lanes, things that can just play on their own, keep the push, or just play safe.
All right, thank you so much for that. We'll look out for those junglers today. And while the LEC playoffs are well underway, over in the LCK, they just closed out their regular season. Here's Log with our international check-in.
Thank you very much, Shox. And Wadid, I know you had a long day already at the broadcast, but thank you very much for taking the time to drop by today.
It's really good to see you. So I mean, I don't care if it's like tired schedule.
Yeah, it's been a long time. I mean, you keep on shining on the broadcast, so thank you for coming here and giving us some insight about the playoffs, because you guys just wrapped the regular season here, and we're going to take a look at the brackets here, because we will have T1 facing Africa Freaks in the round 1, and then the winner will face Genji, who will face Dragon X, and who will face Damwon in the finals. Now, I know we talked to Ashley quite a while ago about the regular season as a whole, but do you see any surprises when you look at the bracket as it is right now?
I felt like DRX is kind of far down, but actually they stayed in the second place, so it was quite impressive. But at the same time, their performance is not on point right now, so there is a lot of worries going on. But I think especially T1 comeback was the point, because with the new mid laner, they are popping off with their performance right now, so it's pretty impressive.
It is something that I will mention a bit later, the fact that Faker is missing right now. But before that, yeah, you were mentioning the fact that Dragon X looked a bit shaky lately over the past few weeks. I know that Damwon absolutely dominated the season, and Genji looks strong as well. So what can we expect when it comes to playoffs here in Korea?
Yeah, I mean, DRX, the reason why they're shaking is that they tried too many tryout picks, and that kind of ruined their consistency, in my opinion. And I mean, I won't say it's a bad thing, but it's CV Max Classic, you know. You remember Talia Pantheon 3 games in a row in finals when it was Griffin time, right? So, I mean, I won't say it's bad again, but I cannot like predict them to be in the finals and like those kind of things happening, you know.
All right, well, not counting Africa Freaks out, but I remember that Ashley tweeted something about the fact that we will have T1, Genji, Dragon X, and Damwon, but only 3 teams will get to go to Worlds, so who will it be?
Oh, I mean, it's really hard to not think about Damwon Gaming, but maybe 2 teams are gonna be really close, and I think it's gonna be probably Genji and Plus, or T1 and DRX, but it's really hard. I think, yeah, I would really want to see T1 versus DRX, especially in the playoffs, and I think it is gonna. I don't think it's gonna happen though, because Genji is gonna win it. So.
Oh, okay. Nice predictions here. But okay, let's come back a bit on T1. You were mentioning Closer. He's been doing fantastically with T1. We saw that this morning Faker played during game 2. He went back on the bench for game 3. So what's going on here? Do you have some insights?
That's really spicy, yeah? Spicy topic, obviously. But anyways, it feels really bad for Faker, but the game 2 was not on him. Like, but the thing is, when Closer is in, every single players in T1 is completely changed, you know? Like, they're proactive, they're making so many proactive plays, and maybe like different atmosphere or different draft plan. I'm not sure, but the truth is, when Closer is in, T1 looks better. So, I mean, still question mark on his champion pool, but for now, I'm pretty sure Closer is gonna play playoffs for now.
All right, well, thank you very much for all these answers and insights. Before I let you go, tell me one team you want to cheer for in the LEC, if you had to pick one.
I mean, Rogue is my ex-team, and Fnatic is my old rival, right? But for now, I'm not G2 player anymore, so I wanna support for Fnatic because I love Reckless and Hylissang.
All right, Fnatic, Reckless, and Hylissang. Wadid, thanks again for the interview. And for more on the game today, actually, let's send it over to Shox.
Thank you very much, Laura. I do want to take a second just to talk about, yeah, the possible Worlds implications. As said, possibly T1 not at Worlds, but they do seem to make it more often than not. Also from the LPL, top esports qualified, so that means we're finally going to get to see Knight on the international stage. Finally.
I'm just ready for this. I feel like Knight versus Cap's a matchup I would love to see break out. Probably can't happen if they're both first seeds, but that is something that I feel like everyone, if you're looking for Worlds, you have to look at that matchup.
I mean, top looks so strong. You've got Knight in the the mid lane. Karsa seems to have stepped it up so much in the last couple of years, and then you just throw in Jakilov, the world champion, and Invictus Gaming aren't even there anymore, so yeah, he's just going to take over.
Yeah, Jakilov's story is so incredibly impressive. Also, JDG, of course, qualified earlier today. And a fun fact, because FlyQuest and Team Liquid qualified from the LCS, also Ignar, Hansama, and Power of Evil, who all played for Misfits during Worlds 2017, are now all going to return to Worlds. That is so cool.
That's a throwback. I love it, especially seeing it from the other side. You know, this was the team that almost took down SKT. It began the downfall of the LCK's entire region, so EU and LPL could get on in there. But yeah, seeing these teams play against each other is going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be a lot of hype, but Rogue could, of course, be facing these teams at Worlds 2020. And tonight, they will take on Fnatic in the LEC Summer Playoffs.
To get out of here, and Toure is left all on his lonesome with an incredible quickness into the knockback. Goodbye, Excel. Patrick gets taken out by Reckless. It's a triple for him.
You're fighting through like what goes well, what goes right, and it's all a matter of finding, okay, this is our recipe for success and expanding from there.
Right, but the Aimbooster Bite is going to do so much work. Shadow's already gone. There's two as Kaiser falls and Finn is still stepping into Kazi. Flashes off towards the back. Banda able to survive. There comes the damage. Kazi, goodbye.
I really don't care what other people think about us. We're not Mad Lions, we're not G2, we're Rogue, right? We play our game. I just want to win, and that's all.
There we go, Rogue versus Fnatic, and Rogue, they ended last in the first LEC season back in 2019, and now they are first seed heading into the LEC Summer Playoffs. Crazy stuff, and what a growth from that team.
Yeah, I love the Rogue story. I mean, last and Infinite 2 players I actually played with on my first team in these pajamas a long time ago, and the fact that this roster's been together since the Academy days in Rogue Academy 2019, the start of spring, there were 4 out of 5 of the players were all together on the same roster.
Yeah, and the insane thing was they came in, and last year almost made Worlds. They were 4th place in summer, but this year completely turned things around, only elevated themselves on top of that. You say 4 out of 5 were on the same team, now 4 out of 5 were on our second all-pro team. So it's not like this is just the teamwork team, they're also stacked with talent.
Yeah, they're fantastic. We're going to go deeper into their playstyle in just a second, but they're always underestimated, but they still are #1, and they're up versus Fnatic. For Fnatic, it's a bit of a different story. It was really a fall from grace, I think, this season for the lineup.
I mean, Fnatic, after, you know, getting sort of demolished by G2 in finals last split, couldn't figure it out this split. Like, every 2 weeks, it seemed like they tried to come in with a new strategy. Selfmade was trying to carry on all these special picks, like the Graves with Reckless on this rock and ball lane, and they just couldn't find anything that meshed together at the end, and they come into playoffs yet again without a cohesive style.
Yeah, I completely agree. They tried loads of different styles, the Graves, the Soraka, even the Karma mid at one point. They were trying out these carry jungles so much, but one thing that's been consistent for them throughout the whole split, I think, is Reckless. When he got taken off the Soraka, he got on these marksmen, and he was doing really well. He's really great stats, and I think he's really popping off.
Yeah, they've got fantastic ingredients. It just hasn't seemed to come together yet, but that's why you also can never count Fnatic out. But the question is, will they be able to find something for today? You started talking about their playstyle, Cadwell, but they have tried to find something that works for them. But do you think the plan that they've cooked up most of the games has worked for them?
Well, Selfmade on these carry junglers has been sort of reliable. I think he's a really good carry jungle player. Whippo's been on sort of tank duty recently, and Hylissang's been on these engaged pick supports like the Rakan, the Pike. The playstyle's coming together pretty well. I like Rex on the Senna a lot. The only thing that I'm not sure about how this team functions is they just love to fight so much. They always fight non-stop. They base, they fight, they come out of base, they fight again. And I don't know, they love to pick these skirmish champions, and it kind of works. They get a good team fight, they get a few towers here and there, but it feels like there's no real, like, consistent macro.
Yeah, because when you look at how they draft, it's not the typical team fight style where you have a front line and a back line, you go for the big 5v5s. It's about the skirmishes. You have a lot of different champions with really high agency. So players like Selfmade and Hylissang can individually pop off, but if all the pieces aren't working together very, very well, you're just going to get beaten by a more coordinated effort.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Jankos did let slip yesterday that from scrims that there is something, that a style that they found that they're going with, so we'll see what kind of spicy picks come out today. On the other side, we have Rogue, and when you talk about lack of cohesion and everyone going out of their own, it's a complete opposite for Rogue. They are such a well-oiled team fight machine.
Yeah, this team's got it on lock right now, and it starts in the early game. Inspired loves playing around these objectives. They secured those with strong early play, but then when it comes to the team fights around a Dragon or around the Baron, they just know how to approach it so well. The draft favors it. They're always going to fight you, and when Larson hits 3 items in the mid lane, and they're just better at it than anyone else.
And I feel like their carries are just such good late game insurance. Hans and Larson, I think these two carries are so good in team fights. Their positioning is good, they're always doing insane amounts of damage. And Finn, although he hasn't been having the best of lane phases, I think that the champions he's playing fit the team so well. He's been playing Gangplank, Sion, Ornn, these kind of engaged champions or just huge team fight damage champions. I think that their style is really good.
Yeah, while Fnatic are playing team comps with like 4 or 5 damage dealers, Rogue are going to have 3 tanks in almost every single game. But you can see, it's not that they're just the late game team, because they also love to play for lane advantages. Inspired likes to invade with early priority, secure those objectives, which puts them on a fast track to the early Dragons.
That it does. Super impressive stats, first in the league in terms of those. But when you talk about key players, we have to go to Larson in the mid lane for Rogue first off. Such an absolute rock for that team.
Yeah, Larson's a beast. I don't know. You can't shut him down in lane phase, you can't shut him down in team fights, and you can't shut him down in side lane. So this guy is just so consistent. This guy never gets caught. He never dies 1v1. He never gets ganked. He just plays the lane so well, and when you press tab, he's either even in CS or he's ahead.
Yeah, I mean, he's a phenomenal laning player because he knows how to control the waves, so he'll hold it by his turret when his jungler wants to play around him. He'll also push and then roam with Inspired. That's been something that Larson has really figured out this year, and a big reason why Rogue are finding so much success. But I've said it before and I'll say it again, he's the best team-fighting mid laner in the LEC right now on picks like the Azir that like to go late.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of the mids in Europe, they sort of play everything. They can play split push, they can play team fight, they can play 1v1, whatever it is. But Larson on mages is just so good that it's like surpasses their ability on every champion in general.
That's a high praise for Larson. We'll see if he shows up in this best of 5. Someone who has shown up in every single game for Fnatic this season has been Reckless. The man's been playing forever and has been the best performing member on that struggling team.
Yeah, I mean, everyone else has been wildly inconsistent, but he has been the rock for this team. And I think that Reckless continues to show that he's never going to get washed up. Like every single split, he's going to continue to perform and continue to impress. And it's amidst a split where a lot of the time Hylissang has been struggling, has been getting caught out a lot in the bot lane, but Reckless still performs.
The thing that surprised me about Reckless is he's always either even or ahead, and his support's constantly roaming. You know, first base, Hylissang's the kind of guy to just, I'm going to run top level 4 and gank top lane. And then Reckless is somehow even in CS or ahead all the time. So, I mean, you can look at the stats, they don't really lie. He's part of loads of kills, he's part of basically everything, and he does so well.
Yeah, fantastic from him on Fnatic. Now, we also have to talk about the junglers. We got 2 phenomenal junglers here. I let you at home decide who's who and who's better. But when it comes to Selfmade versus Inspire, 2 very different junglers and what they bring to the team.
Yeah, they influence their teams in very different ways because Inspired is like the team jungler, you know? He does get out to an early lead, but he plays for his lanes, he plays for early objectives. When he's, you know, setting up to invade the enemy jungle and take blue buff, that does help him get a lead, but it's almost always by working with his lanes, and this is great for Rogue. Selfmade, on the other hand, also gets out to leads, but it's because he's a very selfish player, so sometimes his lanes will get in a bad position, not be able to help them out, and that can hurt them, but he's always going to be a level or 2 up.
Yeah, I agree. I think Selfmade is quite selfish. He likes to get these carry junglers, get himself ahead, and he does so much damage in team fights, so you can't really blame him for it. He does his job super well. But Inspired, on the other hand, he's just so flexible. This guy will pick a carry jungle, or he'll just pick a tank and just do the job for you. So the thing I like about both these junglers is they're both similar in playstyles, but one is more flexible, one's more selfish. But I think Evelynn might be a huge pick in this series, because I think both of those junglers are super good Evelynn.
Well, let's see what happens. I'd love to see some Evelynn today. We also want to hear from you guys at home. Who is going to make the next round? Is it Rogue, RGE, or Fnatic FNC? Spam now in the chat whilst I get my predictions from my analysts. Kato, do you want to start today? Who's going to win and why?
Well, I would say spam the static to help Fnatic, but I think Rogue's going to take this series. I think it's going to be a close series. I think Fnatic probably stepped it up, so I'm going to say 3-2 to Rogue. But I just think Rogue's consistency is going to pull them through.
Look, people have been saying Fnatic are getting better behind the scenes, but I have not seen it yet, and I think Rogue are so much better on the team level and the individual level with the consistency of their performance that I'm actually going to give it to Rogue 3-0. I'm going to go big and say they're going to win every single game today, and we're going to have an early night.
3-0 again from Ender. Let's check in with the vote. Usually, Fnatic wins these by a landslide, but this is not the case today. It's actually pretty close, and that shows how also the people at home aren't exactly sure, even though Ender is. Huge stakes on the line today. Rogue, they have already beaten Fnatic twice in summer, but now the stakes are much, much higher. Let's see who comes out on top.
This is the closest Europe has ever been in the history of 1 in 10. Why would anyone really believe in this team?
Why am I still trying? ON Ulmus is going to get taken down. I want the miracle run to happen. I don't think that it will.
It wouldn't be a miracle run if it was easy.
I'm a doggy who was jumped on first.
That's a triple!
When we were 0-8, people called me crazy in the team. Gilius, stop all of this.
Impossible odds, and they do it. Schalke take down Fnatic and keep the dream alive. Wins in a row.
I can't believe it, you know. Holy moly, what a ride.
You just looked at Trick on Lee Sin, you're like, please, no, just stay.
From the resonating strike and the ultimate comes down.
But this team was placed 9th in sprint.
Ooh, Trick with the perfect face breaker. Wombo combo. SK not taken from OG.
And they are fighting to make playoffs.
System performance, and I think we really got to see what Crown Shot is made of.
SK Gaming, I think they fly under the radar.
My teammates play a huge part in why we are successful now.
Fnatic look pretty bad right now.
For Fnatic, it may be the very first time this team misses the playoffs.
Fnatic gift wrapping a Baron for the Mad Lion.
So anything but winning the split would be unacceptable for me.
One of our sleeping giants seems to have woken up.
What can he do trying to shut down the team? They're grouping up. They're getting absolutely murdered.
They stepped up when it mattered.
It worked out. We're top 4. We take those.
Pretty bad. A lot of work to challenge top spot.
Well, I said
G2.
dumpster fire.
We never lost confidence. Even if we enter playoffs with 6th seed, we're going to win playoffs.
G2 still have a lot left to prove for me. Stop it, but yeah, Vanios is down. The Tom Kench is down. You can do nothing. Caps, who, while his team has been absolutely terrible, has consistently carried. Larson caught out G2, playing at their own pace. Tempo.
Hey, remember when we said that G2 wouldn't win finals in spring? Yeah. And then the night before they come in and just absolutely smash Fnatic?
It feels like we are slightly back.
Now Humanoid gets one, but Genex is going to answer it. And this is it. The show has been stopped for Mad
Spring
Lions.
split, when we talked about Mad Lions, we said they have their single play style.
Mad Lions are super scrappy, always trying to innovate and to find different and interesting ways to attack you.
Defensively,
Shadow!
That's the classic works. He got him.
They should be one of the best in Europe right now.
And Kaiser, this boy is so clean.
We as a team just work really well together. Winning the LEC would mean we are actually the best.
Where a lot of the teams around Rogue are saying, I'm not worried about them, I'm not scared.
Coming forward, he's got a black shield, eyes on Crouch, and he's throwing so much down. Roger's taking a lot of damage.
I think the Rogue have a lot going for
Rogue
them.
have made significant improvements.
It's really good that I'm playing well and that my team is playing well. Yeah, we're gonna aim to win the split, right?
But what an incredible call! Rogue have done it! Rogue, ladies and gentlemen, will be the first team to qualify for Worlds.
This is the closest the league has ever been, just ever.
All freaking summer, we've been sitting here going, we think we know what's going to happen, and then we get surprised.
This has been a crazy season, one for the history books.
Never forget what you went through. Never forget all the work that you had to put in just to get where you're going to. Don't let nobody consider that table that ain't trying to help out the whole crew. You know that most people just try to link up because they want to take everything from you. Running it up, no looking back, making them plays, that is a fact. I'm on the way. Part of the grind is coming up strong and no looking back. Don't get in the way because we bringing pressure. It ain't no slack. Stay on the ground, stay on the ground for that masterpiece.
Si te equivocas te van
I'm going strong,
la
I hit the
palmas.
play, that is a fact. Stay on the move, part of the grind, never give up. Ain't going back, stick to the plan, stick to the plan, bringing that pressure. It ain't no slack. Stay on the grind for that masterpiece.
No puedo.
Hello and welcome to day 3 of the LEC Summer Playoffs. I'm Medic, this is Frosk, and that's Vedius on the end, and we are here for Rogue versus Fnatic, and what a series it's going to be.
It's going to be a banger. I'm really excited. It's Rogue versus Fnatic, and based on what the fans said, they think it's going to be really close. But fans, I've got a bit of a reality check for you. Rogue is 1st seed, Fnatic is 4th, and that's kind of because of the points that they got last bit. They finished 5th! Like, Fnatic has not looked good. I think on paper, Rogue should be the clear favorites coming into this series, and based on Ender's prediction with the 3-0, I think that many analysts kind of believe that as well.
Which is why I think today is about faith. The Fnatic faithful have come out, they say, the playoff buff, the plot armor, whatever it's going to be, Fnatic, they can pull through it. Whereas on the other side for Rogue, at what point will European fans finally give them the benefit of the doubt that this wasn't just the one-hit wonder of taking first, that they are the real deal, and you have faith in them to represent Europe on a world stage and to take down Fnatic?
And although this series might not prove that in its entirety for Rogue, it is definitely a step in the right direction for them. They would lock one of the top 3 seeds to Worlds. We'll see if they can start it off with a win here.
So we have to talk about blue side, how powerful it's been. It's been powerful all weekend, all patch long, it feels like. And it's because of these bans right here. The Caitlyn is going to come out. Kalista is another champion that we expect to be banned. I did not, however, expect the Aphelios. Now, obviously, Hansama's #1 played champion, 10 games on that. But that does mean that either Kalista or Lilia will get through. And Lilia was a big deal yesterday.
These bans, Shen and Gangplank, both taken off the board. Rogue saying, you, Whippo, we've seen this before. We do not want you playing towards the bot side of the map. They're going to prioritize the Senna. With so many strong AD carries taken off the board. Notice that Kalista has been left open, and Rogue is saying, all right, Fnatic, do you play it? Will you challenge us? Because if it's a G2, if it's a Mad Lions, they insta-lock the Kalista here, but let's see what Rogue do.
I mean, we've only seen Hansama play the Senna twice this split. Aphelios, as you said, Frost is his most played. The Ashe is going to get locked in for Reckless. It'll be the first time he plays that, and there's a Lucian alongside him.
Now, obviously, the Lucian is a flex pick. I don't assume that Ashe is a flex pick, but I've seen weirder things. I myself play Ashe support, so
Ashe,
maybe. But I do assume that that's probably going to be Nemesis' pick, or even possibly Whippos.
Find Renekton on 3 as well. Like, oh, and the Evelynn install.
Oh my
wow.
God,
Okay, there's a lot to think about here. Because we've got, so, first things first, the reason why I was scratching my head at the Renekton is because you've just seen a Lucian locked in. Remember that Lucian could be sent up to top lane, it can be played in mid lane. Like, you can send that Lucian into Renekton and you've got yourself a pretty good matchup. Unless Finn is saying, I feel pretty confident in that matchup. That's the only reason why I can think that. But also, we get to see an Evelynn. And notice that they've picked it here so they can ban away some of the potential bad matchups. They also have priority on locking in their support first rotation. So they're picking in a relatively safe spot. And we know that this is one of Selfmade's SoloQ best of most played champions as well.
I find it really interesting also the fact that they allowed the Tahm Kench to slip away from them. Obviously the Senna Tahm Kench has been a big duo that we've seen down there, and like you're saying, to prioritize the blind Renekton when that is still a flex pick, I do suspect it's Nemesis' Lucian, and obviously I think Rogue think that as well.
Yep.
I mean, when you ban Orianna, you know for a fact that Larson's going to go into the Azir, so it's not like it was probably a, oh, I wonder what he's going to be playing this time.
I do love this from Fnatic, though. They're picking 2 champions that were buffed on 10-16. They're bringing something a little bit unique to the table. And we always say in a best of 5, if you're going to bring something surprising, do it in game 1. Bring out your haymakers. Try and put Rogue in the dirt right from the off.
And that's the question. You know, what is Fnatic's identity for playoffs? We heard it on the analyst test from Cadriel and Ender that everyone knows what Rogue's identity is. That's why they've been so successful and so consistent. But Fnatic have been struggling to figure out what they want. And the only kind of common thread has been a carry jungler. And like you were saying, Vedius, Selfmade is given all the tools to pop off on this eve.
So that is 4 top lane bans, potentially 5 if you consider Lilia a top laner as well. And all, like 4 of them have come from Rogue. How deep is Whippo going to have to go into his champion pool here? Because we see a wide array of crazy picks from him, but he's going to have to dig deep in order to challenge Rogue right now.
I think an issue as well is they need to find some sort of hard engage, because right now the only thing that you have is your bot lane with an Ashe Arrow as well as a death sentence. So without having Ornn or Camille, what does Whippo grab hold of to allow Fnatic to force engagements? I would think that that would be something like a Zac.
I think the Zac is definitely a possibility. Wukong is someone we saw fall out of the meta as well, who can provide at least some flank hard engage, and we have seen Whippo play it already this split. Rogue will lock in the Nautilus to team up alongside the Senna, another quintessential pairing when you're picking the Senna, and now they'll be looking for their jungler. Still a lot of the traditional jungles left up and open here for Inspired.
So I would say Lee Sin, but Inspired's really a Lee Sin play. Wow, picking Sejuani into Eve. So my only concern here is one of the things about Eve is that she's very weak in the early game. You can typically, like many AP junglers, usually you want to try and attack them early because their skirmishing isn't that strong and you want to try and steal away the jungle camps. Frost, you mentioned the Ola. That would have been more in the wheelhouse, not only for Inspired, but also if you want to try and shut down Evelynn.
Okay.
But it seems that Rogue is drafted a lot more for the team. Again, you know, we heard it from Cadriel. Inspired's the type of player that will play the tank, he'll play the carries, he'll do what the team needs. And they're saying they want a little bit more team fight power, and we are seeing traditional Rogue. You've got the straight front-to-back team fight, long-range DPS carries behind you, big, beefy front line. Renekton can also peel versus Fnatic, I feel.
So the thing is Fnatic can cause a lot of chaos with this draft, obviously, but they're missing a couple of key things, a couple of key tools. Number one, that reliable hard engage. It's just not there. And for a team that loves to skirmish and loves to have scrappy fights, I feel like this draft is still really reliant on individual members of Fnatic really stepping up and popping off to allow them to have success with this.
I think their pick potential is pretty devastating, though. An Arrow into an Eve, into an Urgot could do a huge amount of work. We'll see if Fnatic can bring something a little bit eclectic to the table here in Game 1 as Rogue try and take them down.
And obviously, as we finally take to the Rift for Game 1, because Fnatic and Rogue are in the game, you have to talk about level 1s. Now, we have seen this iteration of level 1 before throughout the LEC, placing that ward into the bot lane rush, seeing if you can find a pick there or catch people's movements, especially if they go for the late invades. Otherwise, a standard 5 pick from Fnatic. And I do want to point our attention towards the Eve and the Sejuani, because on the analyst test, they were talking about the difference between these two junglers, Selfmade and Inspired, how Inspired is kind of the more flexible guy, but has usually been going towards the tanks. Selfmade, the very selfish jungler, the guy who is all about playing the carries. Brave's priority pick was such a big deal for Fnatic for the longest time, and now on something like his Evelynn, one of the champions that he's famous for in SoloQ, and I feel like it's a perfect example of kind of the two different jungle styles that we're going to see in this game.
I think one of the really interesting stats that kind of ties into your point, Frost, is the XP difference at 15. Notice how far ahead Selfmade is. This is why we kind of dub him as that selfish jungler. It's not really a negative term, it's more of just a playstyle where you as a jungler play very much for yourself rather than your laners. That doesn't mean he never ganks, that doesn't mean he doesn't try to work with his team, it's just that if he has the choice, he's going to focus on himself rather than someone else.
That ward already paying off.
He's been hooked and exhausted, has to burn the heals. That's two summoners down from the Fnatic bottom lane. They're going to try and chase onto Hunsummer. Hylissang with the flay. Hunsummer has to flash away.
Here's the big thing. As an Ashe, you want to trade hyper aggressively in lane, because obviously her back timers, if she gets sent back early, it's not as punishing as a traditional ADC. Now, you could also maybe say the same for Senna, although she's not going to have as many battle stats, so that's why Reckless and Hilly are going to be fine to be hyper aggressive in this lane and to really trade on their health, because they can't really be punished for it.
I think also in that trade, so much focus went down onto Reckless that Hylissang wasn't touched. So the moment a Rogue tried to disengage, Hylissang was more than confident to be like, I